Hey, so here we are again. This is going to be an interesting week, I think. Just a little brief thing. We're in New Zealand here. We're Auckland, our major city in the North Island. Because Wellington's our capital, but Auckland's the biggest city. It's got probably a good third of our whole population. That's in level 3 lockdown, so that's back up there where shops aren't open, malls are closed, and you've only got the essential sort of things open. The rest of the country's in level 2, and at like 5:30 this afternoon they're going to announce where we go to. So I'm taking the opportunity while I can to be out again in a beautiful park, because if we go to level 3 then the parks aren't so open. So let's do it now. Anyway, this week we're in Helaman 1 to 6, and we're going to be positive because, you know, we can do this, right? We can fight this thing. And we've been like likening what the Nephites went through with the war chapters to where we are now, and how we'll get to see this even more, that just up into the coming of Christ, which is into 3rd Nephi, which really isn't that far away, because Helaman's done over, I think, like 3 to 4 weeks. It's really not that, probably even 3 weeks. It's pretty quick. We'll get there, and you can see just the level of just conspiracy theories and rumours, and all Gadianton robber based, all based on the Order of Nehor that we talked about a couple of months ago. It just continues on and gets worse and worse, and you can see that the world is doing this again. Big surprise, right? Okay, greedy people gonna do it. So anyway, Helaman 1 to 6. Now go read a bit, because I can only pick 5 chapters, so 5 verses. Sorry, 5 verses. So go read it. There's a little bit of a Game of Thrones thing that happens at the beginning of this. Not that you should be watching that because it's not 18, but you know what I mean. So there's a little fight for the chief judge seat, and the person who's in there gets killed. It's Helaman's son, and his brother gets killed, and then the Kishkaman comes in and starts doing this whole horrible thing with Coriantama. Awful stuff. So go read that. However, so chapter 2, verses 13 and 14. We're just going to read verse 13. Actually, I'll read 14 too, because it's really good. It says, "And behold, in the end of this book, you shall see that this Gadianton did prove the overthrow, yea, almost the entire destruction of the people of Nephi. Behold, I do not mean the end of the book of Helaman, but I mean the end of the book of Nephi, from which I have taken all the account which I have written." Now, this is Mormon talking. And he's saying that, you know, that this Gadianton, and the way that he is with Gadianton robbers and their secret combinations and their nastiness and destructive ways, is going to be the ultimate end, the entire destruction of the people of Nephi. And he says he doesn't mean at the book of Helaman. He means at the end of the book of Nephi, which is the end of 4th Nephi. Because then we go into Ether, which is the Jaredites back in way before even Nephi and Lehi came in, and then you've got Mormon, what he wrote, and then Moroni's little piece that he put in there. So this is the, you know, like the end of the Nephites is proven because they let in the weakness of the Gadianton robbers. I just apologise if you can hear the car noise. The road's like right there, so I'm trying to be louder here without, you know, shouting it to the park. Anyway, so what I sort of thought of here is, like, you know, it starts small, because this again was in-house fighting. This is contentions within themselves. This is having a weak spot in their fortifications, and we talked about all those things. So you know the old thing where you start off and it's just a couple of degrees off, and then before you know it, the line that's here, and we've talked about that being the Leohuna line, if you can remember, the compass line straight, centered in Christ is straight, and couple of degrees off, and then that's straight here, and a couple of degrees here, not too bad, but the longer you go, the further away you get. So I've got to constantly course correct, so whether we go this end or that end, constantly coming back to that one. We did earlier, when we were in lockdown before, back I think in April, we talked about like leaning not into your own understanding but staying centered. So this all plays into it. So is there something in your life that needs adjusting? Even just by 2 degrees, even just by a little bit. And 2 degrees is a funny thing here in New Zealand, because it's a phone company, and it's also, you know, there's 7 degrees of separation. When we say in New Zealand, it's 2 degrees, because it's a small country, and, you know, if somebody says to you, "Oh, you might know so-and-so," chances are you probably do. So that's how it is. Not always, but chances are, like, especially because I went to a church school, And if it's a church member, they probably know their family, or so-and-so. 2 degrees has got a special meaning here. But so think of 2 degrees and just that. Do you need to adjust something? Just a little bit. Just a little bit. And keep that course correction. So make a plan to course correct like every day. And just the smallest bit can lead to a massive canyon instead of a gap. That seems insurmountable to then come back. So a little adjustment every day is way easier. And like, do a self-check, not for a guilt trip, but rather as like a goals moving forward kind of approach, because you don't want any guilt trip. We've got enough house stuff. So goals moving forward, not a guilt trip. Satan can lead us away by degrees, even until total destruction, like you see here, and you'll see in the coming weeks. Adjusting the course to be on your path the Saviour walked is our true joy and comfort, which leads me into the quote. This is from Elder Jeffrey R. Holland. Love Elder Holland. He says, "We can rise above our pain only when we put our feet onto the path of true healing. That path is the forgiving one walked by Jesus of Nazareth, who calls out to each of us, 'Come, follow me.'" Awesome, right? I think I've got this quote. I'll put this up as well. But that reminds us too, one of the course corrections we can do. If you're not doing your "Come, follow me," do it. It's so good. And it's actually easy. You can break it down day by day, a little bit every day. And some of the readings are too much. Just read the bits that they're covering, you know. Let's just do something. That little course correction stops that big canyon gap happening, because you don't want Grand Canyon gap happening, do you? You just want little bits. Okay, so look how pretty the park is. Got a bit of time here, look at that. So cool, right? This is Piranha Park, and before I've been in Memorial Park, and it's literally like 100 meters that way, so they're kind of joined up. And so tempting to go over there, because that's where the Remember is on the wall. And there's a lot of this week about Remember, and I've tried to avoid those obvious verses and cover some of the ones that aren't so obvious. But in the Book of Mormon, in this particular, in the Book of Mormon, I think it's remembers over like 200 times, but in chapter 5 alone, it's 11 times that the word remember is said. So remember. But anyway, that over there is super cool. Over there. And come summer, spring, it gets all ovy and drop down, and such a popular place for wedding photos. Stunning place. Right now you can see they've trimmed it all back, so it's all open and gorgeous. I might take a photo so you can put that up too and have a look. And right behind me, we've got lots of pretty flowers coming out. Oh, and a man watching me. I didn't even see him there. He looks happy. Okay, well there you go. I'm going to take you around there and show you some more of it. And we'll see you for number 2. Okay.